open up for questions.
I do. First of all, I want to congratulate Penn on a great year. Just a well-coached ball club that just stayed in the middle of the ring with us and just, very resilient. Knew their backs were against the wall. First time I got to meet their coach, and I'm super impressed with him and how their kids behaved and just played the game. They're just hard-nosed and tons of respect for that program. I know there's a lot of emotion in their dugout as each team, ended their season here but us. So there's nothing for them to hang their head about. I also want to thank and tell the University of Auburn and the athletic department what a great job that they have done putting on this regional, from everything from media services to field, the turf people. Everybody did an amazing job. Just the communication and everything that took place. These aren't easy to put on, and when you do, you certainly want to make them special for these student athletes and everybody that's involved, and certainly that was the experience here at Auburn today. Very proud of our guys. Once again, we won a second regional. Had to do it the hard way, just like last year, got in the loser's bracket and had to really find out who we were. And I couldn't be more proud of our team and how they stayed the course. And we talk a lot about steady wins the race, and you don't work, you don't work off the highs and the lows. There's enough of that there. You've got to go out and understand each opportunity that you have in winning a baseball game, and that's exactly what our guys did. I thought it was really neat. My wife doesn't ever like for me to give her credit, but she sent me a quote this morning by a sports writer after the 82 upset, or I say it was an upset. Most people considered it when Southern Miss went to Tuscaloosa and beat Bear Bryant and ended his 57-game win streak. That sports writer, in his quote said, if you're ever going to war, you better pick Southern Miss first, because they don't quit. They know how to sweat. They know how to work hard. They don't quit in their fight. And that's exactly what I told them today, that this is what we are and who we are, and that's what we're going to live up to. And certainly we did that. Getting down like we did 5-1. There were some huge turning points, as we'll discuss in a little bit, but we stayed resilient, and we brought it back in the middle of the ring, and we kept punching, and we were able to get the final blow there late in the game.
Questions?
Scott, last year, of course, like you mentioned, you guys make a super regional. What's different with this group compared to last year? I mean, is it just the experience heading into this next one?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, Andrew, that's what when we got in the losers bracket, that's what the challenge was. And for us, each year, each game is an education and something, and preparing for what's ahead of us. And certainly these guys that came back from last year's team understood how we had to go about our business when we lost that game to LSU. We had to turn around and beat Kennesaw State, which we did in 10 innings, and then turn around and beat LSU, which Justin Storm, we talked about it last night, 5 1/3 innings. He mirrors that performance last night with 5 2/3 to set up a winner-take-all situation today. Much of what we saw today is what we saw last year, a depleted pitching staff who had already been in games, in pivotal games already in this. Tanner took the ball, I think, last year against LSU to get us out the gate. Tanner took the ball this year against Penn to get us out the gate. A lot of big moments in this game, but that's what we draw from. I put it in these guys' hands, these older guys that have been through it, and that's we draw from those experiences.
Coach Berry, every player that I talked to after the game said this is extra important to them because of you.
Well, I'm humbled they say that, but that's not what I want. I want it to be about them. I've been so blessed in my life, and I've had my share of championships, and Omaha I've never been to other than as an assistant. It was very special. I think what was special today, we set on 44 wins, and that was Coach Palmer's number. And I really felt like that we could draw strength from that. Didn't mention it to anybody, but knew that 44 was looking, and if you know him, I know he's smiling up there. So, but I want it for them. I mean, it's their time. it's their time, and I want them
The
to live
44
that.
wins is kind of magical, though, isn't it?
Pretty magical, you know. Anytime you see fours, it means angels are with you. So they were with us today.
Sounds fun. Good. Jim on that?
For Dustin, you guys, I get the sense that you guys are not satisfied. You know, you went to a super last year, and just the motivation to kind of take it another step to Omaha. Can you just speak to that? You know, obviously, want to keep this thing going further.
Yeah, for sure. We don't want our season to end. We won one last year, and it was special, and this one's special as well. But we know there's more work to be done, and we want 2 more games to go to Omaha and win that whole thing.
Front row?
Will, I know you and several other guys who pitched earlier in this week had to come in for today. Can you talk about that conversation you guys had as a pitching staff about just going about handling today's game?
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of guys throw early, and we talked about it. Just everybody's arm hurts, everybody's tired, everybody's hungry, and just feels terrible. But so what? It's just you got a job to do, and as a player, that job is to leave everything on the line for your team for better or worse. And I like to think that our pitching staff did that this weekend.
Dustin, could you kind of talk about your evolution into a power hitter? I mean,
I don't know. I'm looking for a pitch to drive, and I'm putting a good swing on it, and it's going over the fence. I'm just taking the same swing I've been taking, and luckily they're going over the fence.
is it anything different in technique, or is it just adding muscle?
I don't know if it's either of those. I think I'm hitting the ball hard in the air, and it's going over the fence. I'm not sure. I know a lot of people think it's my yellow bat has magic, but maybe that's it. I don't know.
I think he's getting his pitch, and he's not missing it. His swing hadn't changed. I mean, it's a good flat swing, and it's producing backspin. And when you get in those zones as a hitter, I mean, the ball looks this big. And I could see, when the guy threw the pitch that he hit out today. I mean, he was in time. Everything as I tracked it there, I knew there had a good chance to be a nice collision with that ball and bat, and he didn't miss it. And that's what good hitters do. When they get mistakes, they don't miss them.
Scott, going forward, how do you go about handling the super? I mean, you don't know if you're going to be home or not. How do you just go about, I guess, trying to prep things differently compared to last year, if you do?
Yeah, no, I don't think you do. I mean, we didn't, coming into this one, we didn't prep anything different than we did with the conference tournament. Even though it was a day shorter, we have our guys that we're going to throw, and certainly the logistics of this super regional might play into a little bit of what we do in travel time, but we don't really know what that is yet. So I think right now we're just going to try to enjoy this moment for us, and then tomorrow, once hopefully we have a safe trip back home, and tomorrow we'll get together and figure out what's going on and move forward from there.
Do you think you're deserving to host a super, and or you felt you were deserving?
Yeah,
of
I
a
do.
regional?
I really do. We talked. I was disappointed that we didn't get a regional, but I understand that RPI is the factor that determines that. But I thought that our resume certainly was worthy of that, and but now I guess it goes back to those powers to be that determine who would have this super. I know if they draw experience from last year and the turnout at Pete Taylor Park and the experience that everybody had, even though we were on the losing end, it was a well-run tournament that was heavily attended. Probably one of the largest attendance super regionals there was last year, and no doubt it'll be that and more this year.
Second row.
Scott, you talked about it a little bit there. I mean, what would it mean for you to get over the next hump as well and get to Omaha?
Oh yeah, I mean you're always trying to check boxes, and obviously the biggest box is to win a national championship. In 2009, that was a very, very special memory that we all have that experienced it. There's 8 teams. I don't know. This year there's 305 Division I teams, and when it's all said and done, there's 8 left standing, and you know that's pretty special if you can navigate your way through that, because that's not easy to do. I mean, we've seen in these regionals, we've seen power teams get knocked off. You know, I mean, it's the time of year where anything can happen. It's a magical time of year, and you know, to be able to check that box and get a super, you know, to win a super regional and let these guys experience Omaha. I think I'm the only one in the program that has ever experienced it, you know, and so I know what it's about. Of course, that was at the old stadium. I hadn't been to the new one, but you know, would certainly like for us and all of our fan base to experience that and make that trip.
Anything else?
Will, I asked one of the pin hitters who was in here earlier what made you so difficult to hit, and he said you were on the black. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, that just means, you know, staying in the corners and keeping away from hitters, trying to miss barrels, and obviously not throwing it down the middle helps me to be able to do that. So yeah.
Anything else for Coach
I
Players?
don't know if y'all have heard, but our all tournament team, our guys were Tanner, Rodrigo, Monaster, Danny Lynch, Pato, and Dustin Dickerson, who was tournament most valuable player. So I don't know if y'all have heard that yet.
Have not, but I kind of read that, or I felt like that he would probably be the tournament MVP and certainly worthy of that. And you know, back to Will's outing there, I mean, it's special. You know, last week we saw him go a 7-inning complete game there, an elimination game. He gave us that boost, and today I had 100% confidence when he came in that he would probably be the last one that we would need.
How about the job Oldham did?
Tremendous job, you know, and he gave us those 2 innings, and he was done, but that's all he could do. And yeah, I mean, the guys that have been pitching and stepped up, he gave us 3 innings with that. And you know, all these guys are running on fumes, but they're all on a mission too. They have a goal, and that's to see this thing through and finish this job of winning this regional, and that's exactly what they did.
Will, what's this like for you? If you can kind of talk on the rest of the new guys coming into this program, falling short in a super last year, and you know, playing in Coach Berry's last year. How have you, as well as some of the other new guys, have gone about handling it and just not being a part of this culture before?
Yeah, I mean, like, one of the reasons for choosing Southern Miss is, like, we thought we'd have an opportunity to, you know, play in games like this. So that was always a goal, is not just to come here and play or do good for myself, but to be part of something bigger, and you know, to play in the huge games and regionals, win regionals, and play in supers, hopefully win those. And I think everybody's on the same page, and looking forward to what's next.
Second row.
Scott, I mean, obviously had a little bit of emotion there. You started talking to us, emotional moment with your family on the field. I mean, how much of that is, you know, informed, I guess, by your retirement, and how much of that is just like this moment? I'm curious what you're feeling.
Well, it's not anything about the retirement. You know, I feel like I'm past that. You know, when I announced that on that Tuesday, that was a big weight off my shoulder. Now it's just about watching these guys enjoy the moment, because they're the ones that they're the ones that work. I mean, you know, our coaches, I mean, they obviously work too, but these guys are the ones that are in the weight room and the strength and conditioning. They're hitting extra. They're you know, on days off, they're down there throwing weighted balls against the wall. I mean, I see them. We can't be involved with them, but they're doing their work, and I mean, they're highly goal oriented in what they're trying to do and achieve here. They understand the expectation at Southern Miss. The expectation is just what was met today, to win a regional. It's not just to get in a regional. That, you know, at one time it was to get in a regional. At one time it was to win a conference tournament. You know, those things are, to me, have been built and continue to move forward. You know, the next step and expectation is to win supers, you know, to get in supers by winning your regionals. So those are the moments that I feel the most emotion for, because it's about them.
Has it struck you the similarities though between now and 2009?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. That was a long time ago, though. I can't.
Can I ask one more?
Yep, then we got one in the second row.
Go ahead.
Dustin, could you address what it's like to be playing right now when you know your coach is this is his last go round?
Yeah, you know, it gives us a little more that to play for. You know, obviously our goal when we had our first team meeting was to make it to Omaha and win the whole thing. And then a couple weeks ago when he announced it, it obviously just boosted that a little more. And you know, and he doesn't want any other credit, which that's just the man he is. And yeah, it's. I know a lot of the guys think the same way. We all are pushing for him.
Second round, go ahead.
As for Will, it seems like your presence on the mound is just evolving every time you go out there. Can you kind of take a deeper dive on how you feel you're getting better?
Yeah, I mean, one of the ways of thinking that I have is, you know, you're all either progressing or you're regressing. So every single day, there's never a point where I'm just like, okay, my stuff's good enough or my mentality's good enough, or there's never a point where I'm just good enough. I'm always, you know, what can I do better? How can I be better? How can my mentality be better? And, you know, obviously that's a slow process, but I guess when you step back and look at it, you know, from a season perspective, look at the season as a whole, you can see noticeable differences, and, you know, that's something that I try to achieve, and I'm happy others are noticing as well.
Anything else for coach or players? Good. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.